Moldovans went to the polls on Sunday in parliamentary elections seen as the most consequential since the country gained independence in 1991. With just 2.4 million citizens, Moldova is one of Europe's poorest nations, but its strategic location on Ukraine's southwestern border makes the outcome geopolitically significant. At stake is whether Moldova deepens its path toward European Union integration or turns back toward Moscow's orbit. Polling stations opened at 7 a.m. local time and will close at 9 p.m., with preliminary results expected later in the evening. The pro-EU Action and Solidarity Party, in power since 2021, leads most opinion polls. However, analysts caution that the contest is highly uncertain, with frustration over economic hardship and skepticism about the EU bid fueling support for pro-Russian forces. President Maia Sandu, who hails from PAS, has called the vote Moldova's most consequential election. She warned that the outcome will decide whether the country consolidates democracy and joins the EU, or whether Russia drags us back into a gray zone, making us a regional risk. Her message underscores the geopolitical stakes. Moldova became an official EU candidate in 2022 after Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, a move that sharpened divisions between pro-European and pro-Russian blocs inside the country. The government in Chisinau and the EU accuse Russia of mounting an unprecedented interference campaign ahead of the vote. Officials allege that Moscow has spread disinformation online, sought to buy votes, and tried to stir unrest. Prime Minister Dorin Rădășan warned that Moldova faces a siege on our country, while EU leaders expressed concern about destabilization efforts. Russia has denied all allegations, dismissing them as fabrications. Pro-Russian parties, meanwhile, have accused PAS of plotting fraud. The Electoral Commission escalated tensions on Friday by disqualifying two opposition parties over irregular financing. Prosecutors say they uncovered evidence of electoral corruption and destabilization attempts, conducting hundreds of searches and making dozens of arrests in the weeks before the vote. The government claims the Kremlin is pumping hundreds of millions of euros in dirty money into Moldova to subvert the elections. Analysts agree that the scale of foreign interference risks is unprecedented compared to past Moldovan elections. Turnout will be decisive, particularly among Moldova's large diaspora, which tends to vote pro-European, and in the breakaway region of Transnistria, where the population remains largely pro-Russian. The balance between these two blocs could determine which side emerges with the upper hand. Roughly 20 political parties and independent candidates are competing for 101 seats in parliament. Former President Igor Dodon, leader of the Socialist Party and a figurehead of the pro-Russian opposition, has voiced confidence that his camp will secure a majority. Dodon has pledged to balance relations, saying he would continue talks with the EU while also re-establishing relations with the Russian Federation. At the same time, he accused PAS of authoritarianism, claiming Moldova is ruled by a dictatorial regime, which under the EU cover violates democratic norms. He also charged Western powers with interfering to benefit the ruling party. Analysts warned that foreign interference and potential unrest are the most serious risks facing Moldova, while also noting that post-election negotiations to form a governing alliance are highly likely. That uncertainty leaves the path ahead murky, even after ballots are counted. For voters, the choice could not be starker: aligning more closely with Brussels or restoring stronger ties with Moscow. As the election unfolds, Moldova stands at a crossroads that will not only determine the shape of its domestic politics, but also its geopolitical role at a time of regional war and instability.